Welcome to Seth's Daily Podcast here on Nighthawk Radio. I want to thank everybody that's listening to Nighthawk Radio. To listen to Nighthawk Radio, go to nighthawk-radio.com. I want to thank everybody that's liked our Facebook page, gave us a subscription on YouTube. Uh, Appreciate everybody that's supporting us. We're blessed enough to have an interview with Geoff Young. How are you doing tonight, Geoff?
Doing fine, thanks. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Doing great. Appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to be on. Absolutely, man. And I know you won the Democratic nomination for Congress in 2022.
Yeah, in Kentucky's 6th congressional district, which includes Lexington and a lot of counties around Lexington. Yeah, that's the only primary I've ever won. I've been running for various offices since 2012 was my first run for office.
Now, what made you want to get into politics?
I had retired from working in Frankfurt in the Energy and Environment Cabinet. And I was really interested in two things, the environment and peace. Been anti-war for for just about 50 years. Um, when I was like a senior in high school or around then. So I wanted to start. My first run in 2012 was against Stan Lee. Don't know if you've heard of him, Republican. He retired from the Kentucky House a few years ago, but he was in my little section of Lexington, so I tried to run against him. I was a Green at that time, member the Kentucky Green Party. So I ran against him, and basically, well, the Democrats didn't even run anybody. He was so entrenched. And there was an independent. So it was a three-person race, and I just learned kind of how the process works. How do you run for office? What do you have to do? How does it go?
Yep, it's an aggravating process, to be honest.
Can be, yeah, yeah. It can be very aggravating. I know. I don't care really. In my past elections, I haven't cared much whether I win. I care whether I'm going to win in 2026, though. I'm running for the Kentucky House in my district in Lexington again, and I really want to win that one.
I think you got a good chance, man. I mean, you won the Democratic nomination in 2022, and
Yeah, for U.S. Congress.
yes, sir, for U.S. Congress. Yep. So that momentum is going to help you, I believe.
Oh, well, hope you're right.
But yeah, man. Speaking of that, the Democratic Party refused to endorse you, and so did Andy Beshear, which is
Yeah,
crazy to
that was
me.
in 2022, that was.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir. Which is
yeah,
crazy to me, by the way, because
it
usually the
is. It's ridiculous. The Kentucky Democratic Party, the KDP, not only did not endorse me in 2022 after I won my only primary ever, they actively supported a write-in candidate and basically helped Andy Barr get reelected, Republican.
yep, I know Andy Barr. Well, I'm familiar with Andy Barr very well. Yeah, they basically did help him get elected, having a writing candidate. That's actually insane to me, man. How are you not going to support your nominee?
Right. Well, they don't like me because I'm not in the establishment. Um, and I sued them a number of times for election fraud in the Democratic primaries in 2014 for U.S. House, 2015 for governor, 2016 for U.S. House, 2018 for U.S. House, 2019 for governor. In 2020, I gave up and ran as a Republican against Andy Barr in the Republican primary in the 6th district. But they rigged it in exactly the same way the Democrats did. And then let's see, they also rigged it in 22, 2023 for governor, and last year, 2024, when I ran for the U.S. House in Louisville. You don't have to live in the district to run for the U.S. House. You can run in any, if you're a Democrat or a Republican, you can run in any district in the country if you want. You could run in Hawaii, where you got the palm trees there.
Wish I was in Hawaii, man, but I'm here in I love Eastern Kentucky though.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I love Kentucky also. Been here since 1982. Came from Massachusetts.
Oh yeah. But yeah, man, speaking of rigged elections and stuff, 2016 Bernie Sanders got cheated out of the Democratic nomination.
Exactly right. That's when I mean, he didn't fight it, he didn't challenge it, he just caved in. So I gave up on Bernie Sanders in 2016. That was a big disappointment.
Yeah, a lot of people did, man. A lot of people gave up on him because he just endorsed Hillary. So
Uh-huh. Yeah, he caved. Too
definitely.
bad. He would have been much better than either Hillary or Donald Trump, who I guess won that one, right? Yeah, he won in 2016.
Yes,
I
sir.
think he won, I think he won fair and square.
Oh yeah, I know why you said that because the Democrats was bringing up the Russia hoax.
Yeah, that's right. The Russiagate was a huge hoax from day one.
Yep. I agree with that too. I believe that he won that fair and square. And you're actually finding right now, Tulsi Gabbard has released files of where Obama put together the hoax.
Right. It could be considered a number of different crimes, including possibly treason. He tried to get a sitting president um, impeached for for something that all the Democrats knew that he hadn't done. Russia had no reason to interfere in any of our elections, and they never did it. It was all completely made up.
Yep, definitely, man. So, what's your plans for your Kentucky Congress seat, man? If you do get
And,
it, what's your
and
plans
Kentucky
to
has,
introduce
oh,
like bills and stuff?
yeah, yeah. I have a whole list of bills that I want to introduce. A lot of it has to do with reforming the lawyers and judges, the judicial branch of Kentucky, because, I've been trying to run as an outsider since well, okay, 2012, I don't think anybody rigged it. Starting in 2014, they've rigged every primary illegally until today, until 2024. And I've got two active lawsuits now still. I'm not a lawyer, but one of them is on the way to the U.S. Supreme Court, and the other one is on appeal to the federal Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals in Cincinnati. That's two election fraud cases. So I've learned a lot about the law. Wasn't my intention, but when they rig it in such a obvious way, I uh, I wasn't going to just sit there and accept that and quit.
Yep. So, how do they rig it? If you can go into detail, I'm not gonna
Yeah,
church.
yeah, I can. Sure. Basically, the parties, Republican and Democrat, give vast amounts of in-kind contributions from the party itself. Of course, that's legal. in the general election, but it's not legal in the primary. If the parties can decide who their nominees are going to be, might as well not have primaries at all. So we started primaries in this country around 1890, 1900. Um, the progressive movement, the original progressive movement with a capital P, uh, initiated or advocated for primary elections to make the process more democratic. Before that, from the first election to uh, around 1900, the party leaders and of course, the richest donors to the two big parties. It wasn't always the same two parties, but there were always two mainly, usually, would decide who the nominee would be. They could get together over golf or in a smoke-filled room and decide the nominee. So the progressives managed to get primaries established in every state, well, nationally first for president, and then it spread to every state. And that's a much more democratic way of having a country, having a democracy. The primary is more important, in my opinion, than the general election because the general election, it's just, I'm a good Democrat, I'm a conservative Republican, and there's no content. If they do debate, they're just slinging sound bites at each other. But in a primary, you can actually have some real disagreement and real debates about the issues. So I think primaries are more important than general elections. So currently, we don't have a healthy democracy in this country or in any state. They rig the primaries, and that makes it a kind of a dictatorship.
Yeah, especially with this last governor's race. I'm just gonna be real.
Last governor's race, the
Yeah,
one in 23.
yeah, the Democratic Party definitely has put all their money behind Andy.
That's right. They didn't help anybody else. It was just him. It's like the Andy Bashir party of Kentucky. That's what it turned out to be.
And also the media's coverage on that. People didn't even know there was people running against Andy.
I know. That's how they want it. Republicans too. They want
Oh yeah.
their ideal situation is oh, our guy has no opponents. No opponents worth talking about. Certainly never debate them.
Yeah, I remember in 2020 Bill Weld ran against Trump and a lot of people don't even know that he ran against Trump.
Which party? Libertarian?
Oh, Republican.
Oh,
He ran against
Republican.
Trump in the Republican primary.
Primary. Okay, no,
And
I
Trump was a
I
sitting
I
president,
forgot.
yeah.
I probably heard his name back then, but I sure didn't remember it.
Oh, he was the Democratic vice presidential candidate in 2016 for the Libertarian Party. Bill Weld was with Gary Johnson,
Oh, okay.
and then
Oh,
he
all
primaried
right.
Trump in 2020 for the Republican nomination.
I see. Yeah.
And
Okay,
people,
now I remember who you're talking about. William Wells.
yeah, and people just
But
didn't even
wasn't he
know
from
about it.
Massachusetts?
Yeah, sorry, he's a former governor there.
Okay. All right. Well, I think he's a pretty good governor, but not a very good candidate for president. I don't know. I liked Gary Johnson, all right, but not Wells.
Yeah, I'm not. I like Gary Johnson as well. Yeah, Bill Weld was. I ain't even gonna go
All
there.
right.
I ain't even gonna
Irrelevant.
go
Let's talk
there.
about something else.
I mean, he got beat by like 90 some percent by Trump in the primary. So yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah, dude, you're
So,
definitely right. The Democratic Party and the Republican Party have rigged elections for sure.
right.
And I mean, I mean, like you said, dude, 2023 governor's race, Andy Beshear had all kinds of money thrown into him, and nobody
Yeah,
knew about the candidates running against
right. Again, that's okay in the general election, but not in a primary. And there have been some cases, federal cases, where the DNC had to explain their position to the judge or to the appeals panel. And they said, yeah, we're a private organization. We have the right to rig it. We can do that. And a lot of Americans believe that that's the case. But I don't think it's legal at all. It's certainly not ethical. But I don't think it's legal because it isn't in Kentucky. Um, we have a law that says that you can challenge somebody before the primary if you think they've rigged it, and if the judge determines that they did not seek the nomination according to law, they can be kicked off the ballot, the primary ballot. Um, so I filed a number of those ballot challenges over the years, including against Andy Barr in 2020 and a lot of Democrats. But Kentucky's judges have never come down on my side on that. They've all thrown the cases out before discovery and before deciding the case on the merits. So the judges support the establishment, the media support the establishment, and it's really hard to break in. So that's why we started a new party, some friends and I, last year, 2024. It's called the Kentucky Party.
very
And
cool, very cool.
yeah, and I'm excited about it. We got some people going to Fancy Farm. I think they
Hell yeah,
probably already left uh, Central Kentucky. They're on their way now.
that's what's up, man. That's what's up for sure. And you're for abolishing the CIA, right?
Definitely. Yeah, CIA was founded in 1947 under the administration of Harry Truman, Democrat, and they have been the most uh, powerful, dangerous, destructive, deadly terrorist organization in the world from 1947 till today, till this minute. I consider them a terrorist organization because they overthrow governments, they assassinate people, they deal in addictive drugs to make money to buy weapons. And they're out of control. And I think they had a hand in assassinating President Kennedy. So yeah, they're bad news. They should just be completely abolished. We've got uh, 15 other agencies uh, in the so-called intelligence community. We don't need 17. We get rid of the worst one. The 16 others can gather all of the intelligence our country needs.
Yeah. Speaking of the drug epidemic, we have a bad drug epidemic here in Kentucky. So
Mhm.
if you're elected to the House of Kentucky, what would be a bill that you would bring to help reduce it?
Well, I would want to turn it from a law enforcement matter to more to a treatment strategy in general. And I would want to decriminalize or legalize cannabis for medicinal and any other purpose, recreational purposes. I would co-sponsor or sponsor, if I have to, a bill that would legalize cannabis all across the Commonwealth. Right now, we've got some kind of complicated system for various farmers to get lucky and be able to produce medicinal marijuana for, a limited market. Um, just legalize it. And, that doesn't mean kids would uh, would buy it, but it would be like alcohol today. Legalize and put an age limit on it. And of course, if you get into an accident it would be like driving drunk. It would be that kind of situation.
And would you limit a certain amount that people can buy?
No, I think, I might propose in this bill that the whole thing be a state agency, a separate or independent uh, state agency. New Hampshire has a state alcohol industry, and they took it out of the private sector. So we could do that with marijuana. I don't know that I would need to talk with a lot of people about that option, but I think it's worth considering.
Definitely, man. And I support marijuana being 100% legal. I think it'd bring a lot of money to the state of Kentucky.
I think it would. Yeah, it grows pretty well here.
Yeah, man. I don't understand why people's against it so much.
I don't know. I think various special interests all have concerns, but are they valid? Not sure. I don't think they are. It's been used as a medicine for thousands of years by people.
Well, here in Eastern Kentucky, man, we got lead in our water and everything from the coal mines and all that stuff. So, how would
Hmm.
you go to fixing that issue with our to give us clean water, really? Because we don't at this
Yeah,
time.
right. Also flooding. I would try to end mountaintop removal mining. Surface mining in a hilly or mountainous area, I think, is a recipe for runoff, erosion, and flooding. If you've got a flat area, maybe some parts of Western Kentucky or Wyoming, um, surface mining is not really bad, not really problematic. But if you do it in a mountainous area, that's going to cause tremendous harm to the people who live there. So I think it should be banned. I think deep mining should continue to exist in Kentucky, uh, and maybe regulate the safety a little more tightly. But yeah, I would try to ban mountaintop removal mining statewide or in any hilly place.
Yep, here in my county, man, we had a bad flood back in 2022.
Right.
Not county. Yep.
Yeah. Well, I think mountaintop removal mining contributed to making that more severe than it would have been. They strip off all the vegetation, and so a big rain can just wash away the soil, and then it's really hard to bring that back.
Yeah,
And
that flood
people
was really
people died. People, how many people died in that flood?
um 20 something in all counties together. I think my county had like 14 or 15 people that died.
That must have been the worst county hit.
It was the worst flood in our county's history. Yep. They said it was
Wow.
once in a 1,000 year flood. And what they've done is they've not cleaned out the creeks or anything. And when it just rains a little bit, we get flooding again.
I see. Yeah, well, it's much easier to prevent the runoff in the first place than it is to be dredging the streams and creeks and rivers all the time to get the stuff out of it to increase the depth, you're saying, right? So it allows the water to go
Yes.
down to the Kentucky River, the Ohio River, Mississippi River eventually. Um, it's much easier to prevent a problem than it is to try to correct or solve it after it's become bad.
It's a disaster, man. Definitely.
Hmm.
It's a disaster.
Yeah. I'm also interested in tax reform. For a long time, the Republicans have been pushing and pushing to raise the sales tax and lower the income taxes. And I will propose the exact opposite. No sales tax at all anywhere in Kentucky, and a progressive income tax, which means that the rich or the people with very high incomes pay a higher rate than poor and regular people, working class, middle class people. Jim Wayne, state representative from Louisville, for years was pushing for that. I want to take his place as the person pushing for that. I think he died a few years ago, but he was the champion of a progressive tax system in Kentucky. I think that needs to happen.
Well, you know what the Republican argument will be for that. That
No,
the Republican argument would be that if you tax the rich, then they won't like the say they own a business or whatever, they would lose employees and stuff.
well, I wasn't talking about taxing businesses. I was talking about individuals.
Yeah, but if you
Individual
got
income, the personal income tax for
yeah,
rich Kentuckians. I think it's got to be raised.
yeah, but they
They go
what'd you say?
ahead.
Sorry, man. Go ahead.
You.
My bad. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No,
But
no, it's
yeah,
fine.
if they own a business and stuff and you tax them more, then they won't be able to have as many employees.
Doesn't even make sense.
That would be the Republican argument.
Okay, but that I mean, if that's their argument, I've got a degree in economics from bachelor's from MIT and master's in agricultural economics from UK in Lexington, and I'll be able to argue. I also know a lot of people who understand economics. There's some really good economists in Kentucky, uh, and I'll be talking with them.
Yeah, Kentucky's got a lot of smart people, bro.
Yes, I agree totally.
Definitely. But yeah, that would be the Republican argument that if you tax the rich, they won't be able to pay like their employees and stuff.
But I heard one that if you tax all the millionaires and tax the rich, they'll leave Kentucky. I'd say good, let them go.
Yeah, that's another
Let it
argument
let
as
them
well.
mess up some other state. We don't need them.
Yeah, but that's another argument as well that they would leave. And
Yeah,
but
good,
in in that
but I hope they
circumstance,
leave.
the businesses would leave though, and so would jobs.
Nope, businesses would all do better.
Not if
Um,
the owners leave, is what they would say.
well, they could sell it to some other Kentuckian.
Oh
I mean,
no.
business, how the amount of money that a business decides to pay its owner or chief executive officer, CEO, is not fixed in stone. They don't have to be making, 20, 30 times as much as their employee, right? Um, so, so I guess, yeah, I don't think there's anything to that argument. I'll find out if I get elected and see if you're right, see if that's the argument they bring up. But I'm going
Oh,
to
that's
be
not
able
my
to
opinion.
answer.
Well, yeah, that is my opinion. Let's be real. That is my opinion.
All right, well, I'll see what they say and maybe I'll call you.
Nah, because if you tax them, they keep leaving, then there won't be no millionaires here
That's
with
good.
great jobs.
We don't need them.
Then we'll just have big corporations here.
No, I'm very much in favor of small businesses, and I'm very much against multinational corporations. For example, banks, and credit card companies. Another point in my platform is I think there should be a Kentucky State Bank. North Dakota has a state bank that's had it for about 100 years, and it works really well. They tend to focus these days on student loans and small businesses, loaning money to small businesses. And it's really helped the people of North Dakota over the last century. So I don't see any reason why Kentucky shouldn't have a Kentucky State Bank. I'm also in favor of credit unions, which are cooperative banks. So issues like that are mainly what I'm going to be talking about next year.
Yeah. I mean, these issues do need to be talked about for sure. Because we are getting taxed out the you know what.
Yeah. So are you do you make like 1 million a year, half a million a year, or are you in that 1%?
One day. Nah, I'm just putting it out, putting that energy out there. One day, hopefully.
Yeah, well, could happen. I'm not going to say it can't. And
Hopefully.
I'd rather have 10 people, 10 families making 150,000 a year than one family making 1.5 million. I want to spread the wealth, spread the income. I'm also in favor of unions.
Okay, I agree with that. I'm in favor of unions. You gotta have unions, man.
Yeah, yeah, the whole state does better when there are a lot of unions in a state.
Yep. I mean, unions make our pay go up, man.
Right. And you spend it locally. You don't buy a yacht or open a bank account in Switzerland.
Switzerland. Yep.
I'm also a very strong supporter of Planned Parenthood, and I want to try to work for um, making the Roe versus Wade the law in Kentucky. I think some states have done that. I think we should do that too,
Yep. Uh,
because
I'm pro-life.
right? But when all abortions are illegal, um, which is the goal of the so-called right to life movement, which started, I guess, in the early 1970s. That's been its goal. Make all abortions illegal nationwide, every state, forever. More women die. Abortion is often necessary, medically necessary, to save the life of the woman.
Oh, when it
Uh,
comes to that, I'm pro-choice. Like when the mother's about to die or something, I'm pro-choice in that
yeah,
circumstance, and in incest and
yeah, that's
rape.
right. That's right. But the right to life movement is extreme. They want no exceptions ever for anything. Doesn't matter if the woman's about to die, they're against it.
You're right.
So
You're
yeah,
right.
so uh,
You got some far
I'll
right
work
people.
with Planned Parenthood and probably almost every other Democrat. But you know, there aren't that many Democrats in Frankfurt anymore. They're they've got 20% of the House, 20% of the Senate, so they're outnumbered in Frankfurt 4-1. Did you know that? They've gone
Yep.
down
Yep.
really far. So, you know, I'll work with the few Democrats that are left on that issue.
Yeah. I'm not happy with the Republicans in Frankfurt. They haven't did nothing to help us. Neither have the Democrats, in my opinion.
I'm not going to disagree with you.
I mean, it's the truth, dude. They haven't done nothing to help us, man.
Uh-huh.
We're people are barely making it right now.
That's right. I think that's the main issue.
Yep. Another one of the main issues is the files right now, man. I don't know if you want to get into that.
The what?
The files that Trump will not release. I'm not going to say the guy's
Oh,
name.
no, I'm not real interested in that one. It
I
has nothing to do with Kentucky, really. So, so I'll let other people talk about that.
got you. I got you.
I don't swing at every pitch. I let some go by.
How you got, mate? Trying to get a home run, bro.
That's what I'm trying for.
Oh yeah.
Actually, next year I'm trying for first base, trying for a
Yeah.
single.
Yeah. I got a different question for you. I don't know if you've been asked this. So there's actually talks of a USFL, well, a UFL. It was the USFL and the XFL. They've united with the United Football League about bringing. There's rumors about bringing a professional team to Louisville. Would you support funding for the professional football team in Louisville?
State funding?
No. Would you? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I guess I wouldn't support state funding for anything like that. Yeah, I mean, that's one of those pitches that I'm not swinging at.
Uh, hopefully they come to Louisville though. I think that would help the economy
Yeah,
for sure.
it could be good.
Yep. I'm a big football fan, man. So
Okay, yeah.
that helped the
Uh,
economy a little bit. It'd bring a few
yeah, it
jobs.
does. That's true. You know, things like movie making, all kinds of things help the economy.
Definitely, brother. Somebody needs to come down here and make a movie. Here, they sure you think.
Right.
Yes, sir. But you said you support climate change, right?
No, no, I'm an environmentalist.
Uh,
And my main concern with the environment is toxic pollution of water and air. I think climate change is a real phenomenon, but I also don't think it's the only aspect of environmental protection. So I would be more interested in cleaning up Kentucky's water supplies and making sure they stay clean, um, and keeping pollution down, cleaning up Superfund sites in partnership with the US EPA. So yeah, I'm an environmentalist, but climate change is not my single focus. I
I
think
got you. I got you.
it's one part of the environmental issue.
So we do have poor air in Kentucky, right?
Um, yeah, in various parts of it, yeah, mostly cities. but it's not as bad as a lot of other states. Air, we're doing pretty well. Water, we've got real problems. Eastern and Western Kentucky, and probably elsewhere.
Definitely, definitely. I mean, we got lead in our water, brother.
That's just bad. Nobody should be drinking that, depending on the
Causes cancer.
levels. But any level is harmful.
Yep. And these companies have known this for years, man.
Mm,
And the government of Kentucky has as well.
that's right. So I worked in the environmental protection department. I've always been, well, for my whole 15 years in Frankfurt, I was in the energy and environment cabinet, most of that time in energy, working on energy efficiency, wasting less, renewable energy sources. Um, but for the first year and a half, I was in the environmental protection department, or yeah. And there I was reviewing hazardous waste permits that various companies wanted to get permitted to, build a new tank, a waste tank, or have a waste treatment process or whatever. Or companies where um, maybe the previous owner of that land polluted it and they had to clean it up. So, that was interesting. But what I learned is, again, it's easier to prevent pollution than to try to clean it up, much easier after it's occurred. And I learned also that the economically sound way to approach pollution problem is the polluter should pay. So that if they don't, then they're shoving their costs off onto the general public, the people who get the polluted water, polluted air, and they're being rewarded for breaking the law or for polluting, whereas the companies that don't pollute as much um, are at a disadvantage because the polluters can charge less for their product. So I think the Environmental Protection Cabinet is one of the most important departments in the entire state government. It's got to be funded. You can't just trust the free market to fight pollution. That has never worked, never will.
So are we funded well in that department or no?
I didn't know. I was kind of like entry level, and so I didn't know the budget. Uh, but it seemed to be doing pretty well. I think the people, my coworkers, were doing a good job. Uh, there was also a division of inspectors, and I would work with them. So yeah, I think it was working pretty well. That was back, in the 1990s and first half of the 2000s when I was working in Frankfurt. So I don't know what has changed between 2005 and today. I don't know how it is now.
Yeah, that's been 20 years, brother.
Yeah, that's right.
Not trying to say you're old.
Pardon?
I said I'm not saying you're old though.
Well, yeah, I'm old enough.
No, I'm just aggravating you, just joking around. But yeah, man, we definitely need clean water. I mean, everywhere needs clean water, bro. Water is
Yeah,
literally how we live.
that's right.
That's definitely the most important thing here in Eastern Kentucky. One of the most important things, I should say.
Yeah, well, unemployment and addiction are right up there.
Yes, sir. Definitely, man. Speaking of addiction, do you think that stores and other businesses should be required to have Narcan on site?
Probably. I don't see any downside to that. Do you?
No, I don't see no downsides to that at all. I think it's a positive, man. I think you have to have Narcan because we have a very bad problem around here, man. And
Mhm.
the I could get into I could go down a rabbit hole with that, with the drug epidemic, how the
Okay.
government's funded it and all that. I could go down a real rabbit hole with that, but I won't.
Maybe I'll talk with you offline sometime.
Oh,
I'm
we can go
interested
down that
in.
rabbit hole another episode. It's just where I only have 12 minutes left till the show.
Okay, no, that's fine. Yeah.
Oh, I'm always down to go.
I think the penalties for a lot of these drugs for mere possession, and use are too high. Too many people in prison for simply being addicted and using whatever illegal drug, Schedule One. That doesn't help anybody. If they're in prison for 20 years, they can't help their family. They can't work. They can't contribute to society. It's just a bad approach. I think President Richard Nixon started the first war on drugs back in the early 70s or maybe the late 60s. And I think it was a big blunder for the entire country. It's the wrong approach. Should be trying to treat addiction and not locking people up. Now, if you got people selling fentanyl, bringing it in, got a cartel or a gang bringing in heroin, that's another story. It's getting people addicted who weren't before. Um,
Yep. What happened down here is you got coal miners that had bad backs and all that, and these doctors kept writing pain pills.
right. Yeah, the pills. Bad problem.
That's where it starts, anyways.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Very sad, man. What's going on down here for sure? Well, I mean, it's going up in Lexington too. It's going on everywhere
yeah.
in the state
That's right.
or the United States, actually.
Right, right. So these cartels, some of them are Chinese, a lot of them are from Mexico or other places. More and more countries are getting involved in U.S. drug trade, but they sometimes just pick a remote town somewhere and kind of move in, for a few weeks or a month or two, and produce a bunch of fentanyl, uh, and then leave. So that's a problem. I think our state police and county police forces need to be watching out for that.
Oh, that's another topic I can get into is policing.
Okay.
That's
I'd like to
another.
get into that with you, either online or offline.
Oh, I can talk about it here for sure, man. So what's your thoughts on the? First off, I'll talk about defunding the police. Or do you support defunding the police or no?
No, but I think their focus needs to change. I think police all over the country in general treat rich people, politically powerful people different than they treat regular people.
Exactly.
That needs to change. I would try to get them to focus on, and the state attorney general and the state police to start focusing on white collar crime um, more and petty crime less.
Yep. What about
So
police
I
infringing
have
on
some,
people's rights?
yeah, I'm against it.
Me too. Me too.
They shouldn't have so much immunity. It should be allowed to be sued if they do something that's obviously wrong. Like Breonna Taylor in Louisville. That case,
Exactly.
the police uh, didn't do what they're supposed to. And
Yep.
so they should be allowed to be sued, and the department would pay it. They wouldn't have to be um, personally sued, but the police department would have to pay. And after that happened a few times, the police departments would get better at training their officers not to
Yep.
violate people's rights.
I mean, you got police out here kicking people's doors down without a warrant,
That's illegal.
and they're getting away with it.
Yeah. Well, I call that corruption.
Definitely.
So the Kentucky Party that I'm now a member of, we have two main planks. We're pro-peace in the world, um, anti-genocide and anti-corruption. Those are our two planks. Very simple platform. I was able to tell it to you in less than 30 seconds. And that's not like any other party that I know of. Every other party, especially like the Green Party, they've got 100-page to I don't know how many pages platform. We've got one that you can talk about in 30 seconds.
That's definitely different for sure. Yeah, man. We could go down a whole rabbit hole talking about the cops, though.
Okay.
I'll definitely like to have you back on for sure.
Well, that's great. Yeah. Maybe I don't know, a few months or
Yes, sir.
some
Yes,
time. I really appreciate your invitation and happy we got to talk.
yes, sir, man. But yeah, I appreciate you being on, brother.
Okay.
I want to thank Geoff Young for being on. Check out Nighthawk Radio, nighthawk-radio.com. Everybody have a good night and God bless.